This is one of the craziest Void Warlock builds we've ever had in Destiny 2. This is the Void Nuke Warlock build. This build has some insane versatility, being able to deal with massive amount of mobbing, and it can deal insane damage to bosses as well. This build is absolutely insane, and it comes with crazy damage and crazy survivability. It all revolves around spamming our grenades and getting them back instantly. This build is actually mind-blowingly crazy. You won't actually believe it until you see it. So I'm going to show you what the gameplay loop looks like, and it's incredibly simple. We are simply going to charge our grenade, get it ready, and then we are going to throw it into a group of enemies. It's going to pull enemies towards it, killing them, and as you can see bottom left, we've practically got our grenade charge back. When we pick up Void Overshield as well, we're going to get a bit more energy, and we are just going to spam our grenade, charging it up and throwing it into targets. It's that simple. Simply, this is the most simple build ever for Void Warlock, and it's incredibly powerful. Ignore the meteors. It's that simple. That is the gameplay loop. Throw your grenade, nuke everything, move on. Now we are going to go over the exotic armor piece. We are using the Controverse Hold. Resist incoming damage while we are charging our Void Grenade with Chaos Accelerant. Charge Void Grenades. Also return grenade energy on a hit, not a kill, a hit. So if we hit chunkier enemies, every hit is going to give us Void Grenade charge back, making it so we can just constantly chuck these bad boys around. And it also applies Weakened, meaning they deal less damage and we deal more damage to them. This armor piece is absolutely insane and the core piece to this build. Now for the subclass itself, we are obviously using Void, we are using Nova Bomb Cataclysm, we are using Heal and Rift for a bit more survivability, jump whatever you want. Melee, I'd go Singularity, it pushes people away and makes them volatile, kinda helpful. And then for the grenade, we are obviously going for the Vortex Grenade because this thing is busted. Now, for aspects, we are going with Chaos Accelerant. This means we can overcharge our grenade, making it deadlier. And for the Vortex Grenade, it increases the size, makes it last longer, and pulls people towards it, making it absolutely great for mobbing. Now, the other aspect we are using is Feed the Void. Defeating a target with a Void ability will activate Devour. When we have Devour, defeating a target will give us additional health and grenade energy. Great for survivability and great for ensuring that we get the grenade energy we need to constantly be chucking Void Grenades around the place. Next up we have Echo and Instability Void Fragment. Defeating targets with grenades will give us volatile rounds to our Void weapons. We're obviously going to be using Void weapons in this build as it is a Void build. Echo of Remnants. Your lingering grenades, aka Vortex Grenade, have an increased duration. So we've got an increased duration from the Chaos Accelerant aspect and from this fragment, making these grenades last ages. Next up we have Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while our shields are depleted grants us Void Overshield. This is insanely helpful for the survivability to this build, it is a must. And then finally we have Echo of Harvest. Defeating weakened targets creates an Orb of Power and a Void Breach. Well, targets are going to be weakened from our Vortex Grenade thanks to our exotic armor piece, and this is going to make them volatile, giving us volatile rounds as well as this one giving us volatile rounds, this fragment here. This build is all about survivability, getting Void Overshields to help us with that, and making our grenade as strong as we possibly can. Now, in terms of the weapons, your first weapon can honestly be whatever you want. I like to go for a submachine gun for the Overload Champions, just to deal with them, but you can use whatever you want here. You could even use, just anything. For our secondary, I personally like to use a Graviton Lance. 1, it is a pulse rifle, so it deals with barrier champions, and 2, it's a void weapon, and 3, it's just an incredibly strong weapon and also has some good ad clear capabilities with it as well. This is a very good weapon, but you could also use any other void weapon, such as the Title submachine gun. You could use the 3rd iteration scout rifle, the Choir of One. It's honestly up to you. I just like the Graviton Lance, 1 because of my fan favourite, and 2 it deals with barrier champions. And for your heavy, you can honestly use whatever you want. Your best scenario would be using a void weapon to synergize with the void surge mods on this build, but I've been having a lot of fun with the submersion combat bow, so I've just been rocking this. I've never used a combat bow before, so it's just nice and refreshing to use it, and it's honestly quite powerful. But your best choice if you're going for max damage would be a void heavy weapon as well. Now, in terms of our artifact, the first row is just your champion anti-perks. There's not really much in terms of this artifact that is helpful to us, but there are some. Elemental Override, picking up an elemental pickup, such as our Void Overshield, will give us increased damage to same element weapons, being our Graviton Lance. Shield Crush is okay, we're going to have a Void Overshield most of the time, so our melee will come back quicker. It's not quite our grenade, but an additional melee is helpful as well. And then for the last one that's actually kind of helpful is Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has the chance to create an elemental pickup, which will be a Void Crystal, giving us a Void Overshield. Those are the only helpful perks on this artifact. The rest is just personal preference, to be honest. Now, in terms of stats, the stats are very simple. We are going for Blown Grenade. Just grenade as much as you possibly can. And then we are also going to try and focus weapons and super behind that. So as you can see, I've got my weapons at near 100 and my super at 77. This is going to make me get my super a bit more quicker, which we are going to make even quicker with some mods in the build as well. But the prime focus is your grenade. I could get this higher, but I've left it at 175 because we actually have some grenade mods on our armor, which will take this all the way to 200, giving us the maximum damage possible. So just keep that in mind if you are using the grenade mod, which is the grenade font. Keep that in mind that you need to take this a little bit lower than 200 because otherwise you're overdoing it. Now, finally, in terms of mods, for our head, we have 2 Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. We are a grenade build, we're going to get our super quicker, very, very good. And then for the other one, we are using Void Weapon Final Blows, creating overpower. We are using the Graviton Lance, it's a no-brainer. Now for the arms, I'm using 1 grenade font because my grenade is at 175. This is going to give us plus 20 to our grenade stat when we have an armor charge, bringing it to 195. Pretty much maxing out the grenade stat. And then for the other one, we have firepower, grenade final blows creating overpower, and then grant class ability energy when we cause damage with a grenade. This is going to help us keep our class ability up as much as we can, even though we only have it on 18. This is going to still help us get it back very quickly. For your chest piece, these are damage resistances. For your legs, we are using recuperation. Helps with survivability, we get quite a lot of orbs of power with this build, so this is going to help us keep our health up. And then we're using Innervation. We also reduce our grenade cooldown every time we pick up an orb of power, just to double check and triple check that we are getting our grenades back ASAP. And then finally we have 1 Void Weapon Surge. This is going to give us Void Weapons a bit more of a damage bonus, being our Graviton Lance. And now finally for the class item, we're using Bomber. Reduce grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Reduce all ability cooldowns when using your class ability. This is just going to help us get our melee and everything back a bit quicker. And then the important one for the class item, Time Dilation. This is going to slow down our armor charge's decay, meaning we're going to keep our 195 grenade stat a bit more longer. Now, if you don't manage to get your grenade stat as high as this, and maybe you get it to 150, 160, then I would recommend putting 2 grenade fonts on, which would look something like this. But we're fine with that, so we are all good to just leave it as that. If your grenade stat is lower, then obviously that is something to keep in mind. And honestly, that is it. This build is insanely simple. It's just throw your grenades out. When there's a single target, you'll pop them with your void weapon. When there's a horde, you throw out your grenade, bish bash bosh. That is all she wrote. It's such a simple build, and this build is actually busted. I cannot explain enough, and especially in the new Halloween mode where you can just stand there and throw a grenade at the spawn. It's basically like AFK in the event. This build is absolutely crazy, and I hope you find it just as much fun as I have. If you enjoyed this video, a like and subscribe goes a long way. We have just reached 400, which is absolutely massive for me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.